Hi everybody, guess what? We're gonna make some chicken piccata tonight. So I hope you're hungry. This is a delicious recipe. So what we're gonna do, let's just get started, okay? So what we have to do here is, I have a pan that's on medium heat right now. In fact, it's getting a little hot, so I'm gonna turn it down. And so here we have our chicken breast. So what we're gonna use here is we want cutlets, right? We don't want big, thick pieces of chicken. We want thin, tender cutlets. So in order to do that, what we have to do is we're gonna make these cutlets here. So I'm gonna cut, this is a huge chicken breast here. So I'm gonna cut this part off and we're gonna save that for later. And the part that I cut off here is, if you see this end part here, this is like fat and grizzle. And what this is where it was connected to the chicken wings on the breast, okay? So this part is really not edible. So we're gonna toss that, get rid of that. And then we have this extra piece here, which I'm gonna use to make dinner later. So now we're gonna take this chicken breast here and we need to make thin cutlets out of it, okay? This is a particularly big one. So let's get this right in the center. You need a really sharp knife, and then you just go whoop right down the middle. And make sure your knife is sharp so it gets the job done the right way. You're not sliding or trying to saw this thing in half, okay? So look at that. We have nice cutlets now. Thin pieces of chicken, okay? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, what I have here is I wanted to keep this gluten-free, this recipe, okay? So what we're gonna do is use some rice flour. If you don't want to keep it gluten-free, use regular all-purpose flour. If you really don't want any flour at all, you can cut the flour out. You just won't have the same thick sauce that we're gonna end up with. But it's no big deal, the flavor is all gonna be there, but if you need to cut the flour out, cut the flour out, okay? No big deal. All right, so let's get started. So I'm gonna just dredge this in this flour here, okay? Okay, let's go to the pan. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in just about 2 tablespoons of olive oil that I have here, okay? And if you look at the olive oil, it's starting to shimmer a little bit. That means that it's hot and it's ready to go. So let's get our chicken in there. You wanna just kind of tap the excess flour off here, okay? Let's get that into the pan. You see how it's starting to bubble? That's perfect. That means that we had it at just the perfect temperature. Okay. Now let's season those a little bit. We're gonna put a little salt in there. And I use sea salt. It's the purest form of the salt. It has no extras in there. I like that. And I just did a little bit of pepper on there too, okay? So now what we're gonna need while that's simmering is we have some shallots here. So I'm gonna just do a dice on those, and here's how you do that, okay? We're gonna cut down and do these julienne cuts here first. So a shallot is basically a small little onion. It has a sweeter flavor than the onion has, and so it's real desirable. It's used in a lot of dishes where you want that little bit of extra sweet flavor. So what I did was I cut these all long ways, and now I'm just gonna cut them down like this. All right, so now we have this nice little dice here, right? So let's put this back in our bowl here. So let's go back and check our chicken. So I have a pair of tongs here I like to use to flip things. And you really want these only to cook for maybe about 2 minutes per side. You wanna get a little bit of a brown color on there. We still have about 1 more minute. So while that's going on here, what we need to do is we also need to get some juice from a lemon, okay? So I have this little strainer here. We're gonna strain our lemon into there. That way we'll keep the seeds out, right? So that's one way to do it. I'm gonna show you. We'll just squeeze the lemon right into this bowl here. And you see it catches the seeds in here. Another way to do this, and this is what we used to do when I was working in restaurants, is you take a paper towel, right? And you put the paper towel right over the lemon like this, and then you squeeze it like this, and out comes your lemon juice, right? And no seeds. We used to use cheesecloth, but the paper towel gets the same job done, and then you could just toss this whole thing out. So our chicken's ready to be turned now. Look at that, nice little light golden brown color on there. So we're gonna let that go for another 2 minutes on that side here. All right, welcome back. Now we have our chicken breast that has been cooking, and it's just been about 2 minutes per side, right? So we're gonna give that a little bit of salt now, a little bit of pepper, and then we're gonna take these out, right? We're gonna put these onto a plate, and we're gonna just reserve those for a couple minutes while we finish the dish, okay? See, look how nice the golden brown it turned out here. All right, so now we're gonna return the pan to the heat here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our shallots in like this, and that's gonna help to glaze the pan a little bit with the moisture that's in the shallots. And there's enough fat in here that we'll be able to saute basically the shallots in here. And all that good stuff that was on the bottom of the pan is coming up, and that's going to be real delicious. So that's about it. It only takes about 20 or 30 seconds. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a stock, right? And a good reason to add the stock is that some people add wine, but if you combine the lemon juice and the stock, it gets real acidic and almost a little bit bitter tasting. It kind of sucks your cheeks in a little bit. So we're going to add some stock here. And then we're just going to kind of let that cook for a minute. And while that's cooking and reducing, we're going to add in these lemons that I have sliced here. Now the reason for this is they're going to get soft, and then it's going to add a nice lemon flavor, full rich flavor, right? And look at that, look how nice that looks, right? All right, so now we've been waiting about 3 or 4 minutes. We're letting this chicken stock reduce. What the vegetable stock. What the stock does, you can use the chicken stock if you want. Either way, it's delicious, okay? So what the stock does, it gives it a really rich, nutty flavor, right? And that's what we're looking for. We don't want it too acidic, but we're gonna have a nice lemon flavor combined with that nuttiness of the stock. It's gonna be delicious, okay? So let's look at this. You see how the flour that we used from when we dredged the chicken in there made it nice and thick. Look how nice that is, right? So what we're gonna do now is we're just about ready to eat now. And we're just gonna throw in some capers, right? And a good way to do this, you just take a fork. That's how you get them out of these thin jars here. Put some capers in like this. About 2 teaspoons, okay? I love capers. Okay, so we have those in there, and then we're going to add the lemon juice right now. And then we're going to add about a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of butter. And that's going to really round it out nicely, right? On the heat like this, it really gives it a nice full body sauce, a really rich flavor, okay? So we're going to let that go, and then we're also going to throw in a couple teaspoons of parsley that we cooked. So now we have our chicken breast here, and once this butter melts, we're just gonna spread this sauce right over the chicken breast. Look how beautiful that is. You see how bright? Oh, and it smells delicious. I wish you guys could smell this, it just smells so good. Okay, the butter's all melted, and watch this. We're just gonna put this right over the top. Okay, look how beautiful that looks. Now we're gonna just take a little bit of parsley, just stick this right in the side there, and there you have it. Chicken piccata, delicious. Bon appetit.